My child, you have been asking why this season feels so heavy. Not dramatic, heavy. Heavy to think through, heavy to carry, heavy to explain, heavy to endure. Heavy in the quiet moments when your mind stops pretending it is fine. You have asked whether you are doing something wrong. You have wondered whether the pressure is a sign that you missed the right path. You have questioned whether the delay, the emotional strain, the inner stretching, and the constant uncertainty mean you are being punished. Listen carefully. The weight you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. Preparation rarely feels comfortable while it is happening, because preparation changes your capacity, and capacity does not grow through ease alone. It grows when the inner life is stretched, when patience is tested, when motives are uncovered, when immature dependencies are exposed, when fear is challenged, when you have to keep walking without the easy reward of instant clarity. You wanted quick answers. I am building deeper strength. You wanted obvious confirmation. I am building steadier discernment. You wanted the path to feel smooth. I am building the kind of heart that can stay anchored even when the road turns unexpectedly. Do not misread the strain. The pressure is real. The questions are real. The waiting is real. The tears are real. The fatigue is real. But real does not always mean harmful. Some things are heavy because they are enlarging you. Think of what happens when something is being strengthened. Muscle tears before it grows. Seeds split before they rise. Old skin sheds before a new layer is visible. A foundation has to go deep before a building can go high. Preparation often begins with tension, not applause. That is where you are, inside a process that feels heavier than expected, because it is shaping more than your schedule. It is shaping your inner life, your reflexes, your definition of peace, your response to uncertainty, your relationship with control, your ability to stay soft instead of hardening under pressure. If I gave you everything you asked for without first increasing your inner strength, some answers would crush you under the weight of their own blessing. You think you only need an open door, but sometimes what you really need first is more emotional room, more spiritual steadiness, more truth in your center, more ability to carry increase without losing yourself. What is coming next cannot be held by the same version of you that panics every time life becomes unclear. It cannot be held by the version of you that only feels safe when every detail makes sense. It cannot be held by the version of you that confuses urgency with destiny and pressure with purpose. So I am allowing this season to work on the parts of you that no platform can display. The hidden parts, the honest parts, the parts that determine whether blessing becomes peace or just another form of pressure. That work is holy, even when it is exhausting. My child, you keep treating weight as if it automatically means something is wrong. But sometimes weight is evidence that you are carrying lessons that your old self would have dropped. You are holding more awareness now, more responsibility, more emotional honesty, more spiritual sensitivity, more discernment. That can feel heavy before it feels empowering. You are not becoming weaker because you feel more. You are becoming truer. And truth can feel intense when you have spent a long time surviving through suppression, speed, distraction, or overfunctioning. When numbness begins wearing off, life does not immediately feel lighter. Sometimes it first feels more honest, more raw, more revealing. That is not a step backward. It is what happens when a soul stops living on autopilot. You do not need to be ashamed that this season is affecting you deeply. Shame would tell you that stronger people would not feel this tired. Shame would tell you that better faith would have made this easier. Shame would tell you that if you were more mature, you would not still be wrestling with the same questions. But shame is not teaching you. It is only trying to make you hide from the very process that could refine you. Do not hide from the preparation. Stay in it with me. Bring me the confusion. Bring me the resentment. Bring me the emotional fatigue. Bring me the impatience. Bring me the fear that whispers, "What if nothing changes?" Let me meet you there instead of letting that inner pressure speak to you unchallenged. This season is teaching you that strength is not the ability to act untouched. Real strength is the ability to stay honest without collapsing, to feel deeply without making your feelings your God, to walk slowly without calling yourself behind, to face uncertainty without instantly turning it into a story of abandonment. That kind of strength lasts. And you need lasting strength, not temporary adrenaline. Adrenaline can get you through a short crisis, but it cannot build a stable life. Performance can get you through a public moment, but it cannot build a peaceful heart. Suppression can keep you moving for a while, but it cannot produce wholeness. That is why the old way is not enough anymore. I am preparing you for more than a single breakthrough moment. I am preparing you for stewardship, for sustained peace, for clearer discernment, for cleaner decisions, for a future that does not have to be built on panic, approval, or survival mode. The wait is part of that work. Not because I delight in burdening you, but because some things can only be formed when the old way of coping has become too weak to continue leading. You have noticed that some habits no longer comfort you the way they used to. Some distractions no longer satisfy the way they once did. Some patterns now feel obviously draining where they once felt normal. That is not random. Preparation changes your taste. It changes what you can tolerate. It changes what your spirit will allow without protest. What once passed as normal now feels expensive. What once looked attractive now looks unstable. What once seemed like safety now reveals itself as stagnation. This is preparation, because a heart that is being trained for peace will become less impressed by what costs too much inside. My child, there are things you are carrying now that are not meant to stay forever, but they are still accomplishing something while they are here. The unanswered question is exposing where you still fear not knowing. The heavy responsibility is exposing where you still believe your value depends on performance. The slow season is exposing where your identity still depends on visible movement. The emotional strain is exposing what still needs healing, rest, truth, and care. Exposure is uncomfortable, but exposure is not cruelty. It is mercy, because what stays hidden often stays in charge. And what is brought into the light can finally begin losing its power to rule you. That is why this season matters more than you know. You are not just waiting for life to improve. You are learning what has been quietly controlling your peace. You are learning where your reactions come from. You are learning what panic sounds like in your own mind. You are learning what calm truth sounds like too.
That matters because the future will test what the hidden life has practiced. When the next door opens, what will speak louder in you? Fear or steadiness? Urgency or discernment? Approval seeking or alignment? Pressure or peace? Preparation decides that before the moment arrives. So stop calling every heavy season meaningless. Some heavy seasons are classrooms. Some are gyms. Some are surgeries. Some are wilderness spaces where false strengths die and cleaner trust begins to form. You are in one of those spaces now. And yes, it is hard. Hard because you want relief. Hard because you want clearer answers. Hard because you are tired of being stretched. Hard because part of you wishes the lesson could be skipped and the reward could simply appear. I understand that. But shortcuts often preserve weaknesses that later sabotage the very thing you prayed for. I am not interested in giving you a blessing that your unhealed patterns will immediately turn into pressure. I want to prepare you to carry what is coming with peace. That means the inside must become stronger than it was before. A stronger inside does not happen by accident. It happens when you stop running from the heaviness long enough to ask better questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But, what is this exposing in me? Not, why is life so unfair? But, what kind of person is this season training me to become? Not, when will this end? But, how can I remain honest, soft, and teachable while I am still inside it? Those are preparation questions, and preparation questions change the atmosphere of a season because they turn pain into perspective, they turn pressure into process, they turn delay into formation, they turn heaviness into something that can actually deepen you instead of just discouraging you. You are not meant to leave this season empty-handed. You are meant to leave it steadier, wiser, more honest, less driven by panic, less impressed by urgency, less afraid of stillness, more aware of what peace actually feels like, more capable of waiting without making delay your identity. That will matter when what you have prayed for begins arriving. Because arrival is not the only challenge. Stewardship is a challenge too. Many people pray for answers, but are undone by what those answers require. They pray for responsibility, but are crushed by the weight of holding it. They pray for clarity, but do not yet have the patience to move with it cleanly. They pray for change, but have not yet built the inner floor needed to stand on it. I do not want that for you. I want what comes next to meet a version of you that has learned how to breathe under pressure, how to discern under uncertainty, how to rest without guilt, and how to move without abandoning peace. That version of you is being built now. The weight is not here to crush you. It is here to increase your carrying power, not by making you hard, by making you rooted, not by teaching you to shut down, by teaching you to stay honest, not by training you to expect the worst, by training you to remain steady when the full picture has not yet formed. This is why you must stop speaking over yourself as if this season is only damage. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is tiring. Yes, it has asked more from you than you wanted to give. But it is also building things in you that comfort alone never could. It is building restraint where you once reacted too quickly. It is building discernment where you once rushed. It is building humility where you once demanded control. It is building prayer where you once relied only on strategy. It is building patience where you once only tolerated speed. It is building endurance where you once only had adrenaline. That is not punishment. That is holy preparation. One day you will look back and see that this heavy season taught you how to carry light correctly, because light received by an unsteady heart is often wasted. But light received by a prepared heart becomes direction. Direction becomes peace. Peace becomes wise movement. And wise movement changes everything. My child, do not despise the season simply because it is weighty. Do not assume that because it feels hard, it has no purpose. Do not reduce your refinement to a random struggle. Something is being built. Something is being purified. Something is being strengthened. Something is being made ready. And you are not alone inside that process. I am with you in the middle of it. Not only at the end, not only when it becomes easier to explain, not only when the breakthrough is visible, right here, inside the unanswered questions, inside the tired evenings, inside the emotional stretching, inside the moments when all you can do is whisper a prayer and keep going. That still counts. Small faith counts. Quiet obedience counts. Breathing before panicking counts. Resting instead of spiraling counts. Returning to truth instead of fear counts. Do not underestimate the holiness of simple faithfulness while the season still feels heavy. Let me pray for you. Father, touch the place in this person where the weight has felt too hard to carry alone. Strengthen what has grown tired. Calm what has grown loud. Heal what has become raw. And show them that this season is not punishment. Show them that they are being prepared. Prepared to carry more with peace. Prepared to move with wisdom. Prepared to receive what is next without losing themselves inside it. Give them steadiness where fear has been speaking. Give them hope where heaviness has been trying to rewrite the story. And let them feel your nearness even now. Amen. My child, the weight you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. And what this season is building in you will matter more than you know. If this message reached your heart, write in the comments, "Prepare me."